what is what
Okay.
is void?
Void is the keyword where you want to write something inside it. For this way, you can define any data types here. But in this case, we don't identify here the data types. That's why we use here the void. Okay. Void means that I just write the void means is that uh, void means that the function doesn't have a return value. Okay.
Mm,
Return value, this is not return anything. This is directly execute your codes. This is called by using the void. Okay.
okay. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
basically um function
Mm-hmm.
meaning like if you write something inside and then if we
Mm-hmm.
call,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so we write some kind of code inside
Mm-hmm.
the function, right? And then we call the function in order to run specific task.
Yeah. Then specific tasks you can run here. This code will be executed when this call function is called. Okay. And the
Okay.
program one, I auto define is this one. Okay. You remember that I use the int main. Int main is also a function, but this is a
Mm.
predefined function. This is also
Mm.
a function. This is also a function, but it's predefined function. Predefined means the system I defined it for this part. Okay,
Mm.
where you want to execute anything right there inside it. We don't need to be call it. We don't need to be ask them. Just write anything, and then this is called a predefined function. This is
Mm.
main is a predefined function. Okay. So we write here the main is predefined function, and then if you see here, and then if you run this, here we
Mm.
got this. Okay, so main is called
Okay.
as a predefined function, and then you will write here. Okay, and then I just use a user defined function. Okay, this is my user defined function, which was user define it. Okay, so how to define the user defined function? Simple one. I just write a void first, and the name is a function name. Suppose as my I name is a function is my function. Okay, my
Mm.
function, and this packet I use here. Okay, and then inside it we just write a simple message. Okay, this is user defined function. I just write a simple message. Nothing will be that here. I just write a simple message here, and then I use it. Okay, for the every time. And this is your call as a declare and define the function. Declare and define the function. Right. You remember that every time you can define the function is also above the declare the function above or always above the int main, right? Main function. Okay, don't define the function inside the main because this will not work. Main is the already is the function, and then inside the function we can't define as a function. User defined function will always define outside the main function, right?
So
But use
if
it.
you're
But you,
if
yeah,
if you're writing a function, it has to define before the main, right?
yeah, before
Mm.
the main. Okay. Also, we define the function below the main, but declare always declare the function at the before the main. Okay.
Basically declare function outside the main, right? It can
Outside the
be
main, right?
okay, above or below. Okay, I see.
Okay. Okay. And then if
Yeah.
I run this one and then just check this out, my output will be seen here. This output will be seen or not. Okay. So just I run here. I just run it. Then what's they got? Only got the main is a predefined function. Only this message will be appear, not this one. Okay. So
Mm.
for appearing this message, how will we use it? So then we
I
need to
think.
be call it. So
Mm.
what I do just write a my function and bracket is closed and semicolon. This is called a call the function. When we call the function, then this function will be executed. This line will be executed here. Okay, simple. This line is executed. Okay,
Okay, so
suppose I run this one. Then what we got? Then we got this message. This
this
is a user
you should
defined
define
function,
function. So,
right? Mhm.
um, in like complex functions, right? Do we have to, why do we have this bracket? Like, is it
Which
to
brackets?
add something?
Yeah, this is the bracket to denote as you're calling the function.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because this function is other different type where we because we can just write this one. This is as like as a variable. But if you in
Mm,
this bracket we upside it, this is act like as a function, right?
mm,
And then also remember that you can declare call the function multiple times. Many times you want to call the same message multiple times? Then just you can
mm,
write here your function, my function here.
mm,
Only write the my function, and then this will you call the second time also. And then second line will be appear here. Two times this will be called here. If you write that three times, you can just write here the my function, and then here this will be called about three
um,
times. I
my
just said
question is
here.
that
Mm-hmm.
in any situation, do we write anything inside this bracket?
Which bracket?
Uh,
This one?
the pink, yeah, the pink bracket. Yeah.
No. In
Okay.
this case, we don't write here, but we
Mm,
write here anything inside it. But first of all, define here something. Without defining here, we can't write here. Okay, we
mm, mm,
come to this point also. Okay, don't worry about it. We come to this
mm.
point also. Okay, first of all, we need to be know about how to declare and define the function.
Okay.
Okay, okay. This is the way you can define this function. Suppose this I use here int main first, and then I want to define the function below the main. This is main
Mm,
function, and the side this is main function. Okay, and then I want to below the function, I just define the function. Okay, void my function, and then see that this will work or not. Yeah, this is this is my function.
mm,
Okay, and put here the handle also.
mm.
If I call here, and then below we define the function. This is I just write here the my function. Okay,
Function.
and check this out. My function is work or not. If I run this
Yeah.
one, just check this one. What we got here? We got an error. My function
Error.
was not declared in this scope. My function is not declared here. Two things is remember that. First of all, declaration, and after that, you get definition. Okay, where you want to declare here, every time remember that if you want to do as function, means to be declare the function as above the main. Always declare the
Mm,
function above the main. Don't declare in below the main. So what you do, just
mm,
write a void my function, and then just function here. I just declare the function. This is called a declaration of the function. Declaration of the function. I just declare the function. Okay. And then after the main function, we define here definition of the function. Okay. How to define the function, how to act like the function. Okay. So you can
mm,
always remember this. You can declare function always above the main, not the below the main. After that, this function will work. Okay.
mm, mm.
So this declaration definition is important to you, right? So that's where you
So,
can get.
so okay. So if we are writing the definition on top of the main, right?
Mhm,
If we're
mhm,
writing the definition on top of the main, then we don't have to declare, right?
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. To have to be declared above the because always we declare the function at above the main, not the below the main. We define the function at below the main. This we create the things. Okay, we create the programs.
Uh,
But first of all, we define declare the function. After that, assign whatever you want to functionalities you assign inside the function. Okay, just you can do it. See.
yeah.
Okay.
Another question. We didn't declare the function like on the top, like the other example, right? Or
Yeah,
did we
it's this
declare?
example. We declare and define both the things are done in our domain. Okay, declare then and define also. Both the things are done by this line. Okay, above the main. But in this case, we
Oh,
just
okay.
declare the function and above and define the function as below.
Okay,
Right?
I see. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is the important way you want to define here. Okay. So how if you define the function is below the case, then we can always declare the function first of all. After that, you define it. Okay. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
This is called a function. Okay. How to use the function, how to declare and define the function. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Next thing will you come here. I just want to show here something here. Next one is in the inside the function we have to talk about the function parameters and arguments. Okay. What's the function parameters and arguments instead? Okay. I just use this information can be passed to the function as a parameter. Okay. We call as a parameter. Information can pass to the function as a is called as parameter. And okay. And parameters also parameters misses act as a variable, act as variables inside the function. Okay. So act as variable inside the function. This is called my function. Right? So you can use this function one here. Okay. How to define these parameters and arguments here? Okay. So you just define here. Syntax is that simple one. If you declare the function, suppose it's void function name, what the function name is, you can use here. And then inside it, we just define the parameter. Which one is parameter use? Not the asterisk one, this is one. And inside this packet, we just define the parameter. You can use the parameter one, parameter two, what parameters you want to define here. Parameter two, and then so on, you can use here. Okay. And
Um,
then you can execute here the code. Okay. Code to be executed. Okay.
mhm.
Suppose that I want to define this one as my,
Um,
uh,
what is
I just
parameter? Like, what
Just
is
I
that?
just you see, this is we seeing here the by example. This we do
Mhm,
as example right here. Suppose I just use a void and just say the gate. Okay, gate means
mhm,
as greeting, and this I
mhm,
just write a string. We also define as data types because here this is my variable, so it's act like a variable, and then write here the name. I want to assign as a parameter as a name, and then after this, okay, and then we can write C out, and then after that, hello, good morning. And then here, what I do, I just put here the name, and after that, okay, this is name is trimically V, and then after this intent, make here, and see out, not the see out here, I just use to call a grid directly. If
mhm,
you pass something here, pass the parameter here, then always pass here the argument, okay? If you pass here
mhm,
the parameters,
mhm,
okay, this is my parameters, passing the parameters, okay? Then here, what we pass here, we always pass here the arguments. If you don't pass the argument, then this will be getting the error.
mhm,
Okay. So suppose here his name, I just pass here the name. Okay. So when I
mhm,
write here the Alex, this one is name. And then if I just do it one, then most days to good morning, Alex, right?
mhm.
This is V. You can define as a variable inside it and define the some custom message here. And then by default, when we call this function, some value you assign inside it, then you can use this way. Okay. Then you can first of all define the variable. This is called as parameters. And then after that, in the below where we call the function, just passing the arguments for this variable. All right. Which type of
So,
variable you use? Use
so,
string type to string variable values use. All right.
mm. So
If I call
in
here the grid and then I just write the common, then
mm,
what says to the values good morning column, right?
comma,
Right. So this is
mm,
way you can every time you assign different values inside it. Right?
okay. So am I able
Mm-hmm.
to use
Mm-hmm.
different data types here in the parameters or no?
Yeah, you can use the different data types also. Okay. You can
Okay.
use the different data types, different things here. Suppose here, I just comment in this one, and then I just use a two parameters here, and both are the difference parameter. I just write the details. Okay. And as I write here the string name and then here int age. We put the
Mm,
between here we can multiple parameters say using the comma. Okay.
Mm.
And just I write the C out, message is this. I just my name is name and and I am sorry. Um I put the is on. Correct?
Mm.
Just I may type here the message where we have to name and age by default will come here. Then here
Mm.
was how to use this was int main. I just write main.
Mhm. And then
And just
details.
call this function is details, and then
String
details inside it. If you define
name.
here the two parameters, always here passing your two arguments, okay, not the one single one. If I use this here Alex, and then I just use 26 as I just remember it, okay. Then if I
Mhm.
run this one, then what's the message show here? My name is Alex, and then I am 26 year old. Okay, you
Um,
can just write the year old also.
so for the 26, we don't need to use the quotation, like the.
Don't need to, because this is defined as the int. And inside
Mm.
the int, we don't need to be quoted. If I write here the string, suppose I write here the string, and then I want to apply directly to this way, then what will be happen? We got an error,
Mm.
because this is not a string. This is my integer. Then this will be
Mm.
can't be asked. If I just do the quotation here, then this will work. Okay.
Mm.
So whatever you want to do here, just remember that which data type you use here. This is also important for us. So which data types you use here. Okay, if you use integer, then you can use integer type values. If you declare the int string, then assign the string type value, character types, and then whatever you use here, just use it, right?
Mm.
Okay. If one thing also remember this details, if I just write here as a name only, I'll not write here the is. One thing I
Mm.
miss here is
Mm.
one pair. If in here we have two parameters, but here we define only one parameters. And then if I just then we run here, then we got an error.
Error.
Because if you have a two parameters, then always you define as a two arguments. Okay. How
Mm.
many parameters you can use here? You can define as that's much arguments here. Okay.
Okay.
So same thing you can do is to suppose here I just write 28. Okay. Then after that you can click yes. Then we got this. Okay. My name
Mm.
is Kunal and I am 28 years old. Okay.
Mm.
So this is really dynamic too. You can do this. Anything you can message and then anything you want to do here, just do it right there. Right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I one example I also take here. Suppose I want to addition of the two values. Suppose here void. I want to add one. Okay. And just we
Mm.
use the int and one, and then here int and two. Whatever you want to reuse here, you just v of your and see out sum of addition of two values is I just write the n1 plus n2, right? And
Mm.
then use the standard, right? So then we can make here the addition values of these two values, and then here, if I call numbers here, suppose 26 and 25, okay, and then if I run here, then we got the addition of two
Mm.
values.
Yeah,
Also, you can
49.
define as integer value x and y, and then you want to take the input for user, just see it see out I write here, enter the first value,
Mm.
and then here see it x value I enter first, then see out again, enter the second value, okay, and then here see in, I write here, and then y, okay, and after that you can also use the add for additions, and then xy value will be assigned inside a simple one. You
Mm.
can also you take the user input, and then you can also use it. Right here. So enter first value I write here the 78 and then 56 right here. Then here will be addition of these two values 134, right?
Mm.
You can also do as well how much things you can make. You can make a multiple functions there. Doesn't matter how much functions we use here. And
Mm.
one and two. If I want to subtraction, then I make a subtraction methods right there. Okay, subtraction
Okay, got it.
of two values. Okay, and you can use a subtraction also. Okay, just and one
Mm-hmm.
minus and two. Okay, so you can also use as a subtraction, right?
Mm.
Yeah, and just call as a subtraction
Uh,
also here. Which one var function you want to call here? That's will be work there, right?
mm.
X and Y. Okay. So
So can
how much
we?
function? Mm-hmm. Tell me. I understand this one. And then check
Oh,
this out. My
when we.
working is not. Yeah,
Mm.
this will be worked or not. Okay, this will be working, right?
Oh, okay. One question, like
Mm-hmm.
when we write the functions, right? Can I
Mm-hmm.
use int instead of void for subtraction and addition?
Yeah, you use the int also, but for the using the int, this is condition will be changed right here. I can also explain this one also. Okay. Okay. If I use a void, we can't define as a returns. Okay. But if you use a int instead of void, you can also use a int right here. Why we use a int? Just I come to this portion also. Okay. Next topic of this part is come here. Next topic is my function where to return values. Okay.
Mm.
Next topic is my function where return values. Okay. Remember that for the using the return values, all we don't use for using the return keywords. Don't use void keyword. Okay. Instead we use int keyword. Okay.
Mm.
Because void does not support the return keywords. Because void is not support the
So void is the data type that don't return anything.
yeah. Okay. Because void is
Mm.
not a data type, this is just a keyword for defining something, okay? Instead of data types.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Just I show here for the return, how the return keywords work and then what's the return keywords is true. I just make here void. Not here the void, I use the int. Okay. And suppose I want to addition of two values right here. And then this is my value is int and one, comma int and two, right? And then
Mm.
bracket is this. For this part, I want to return this functionality. Which return functionality is that? Is my and1 plus and2. Okay, I just want to this type of functionality want to return here. Then what I do? Return
Mm.
okay and1 plus and. I just return this addition of these two values. Return the
Mm.
addition of the two values. Okay, this I return is this
So
one.
is it the
Mhm.
same as the out?
No, here we don't use the cout. We need to be cout, then you can use the cout also. Okay. But we didn't need to be cout. Okay, if you want to see out, then you just write one thing. Addition of the two values. Okay. This one is I use here. After this, use a
Mm.
return of these keywords. And then if I call var and then I just put here the values. Okay. Put whatever you want
Mm.
to put here the values. And if
Mm.
I just run this file and check this one, what's the value is called here? Addition of two values only will be called.
Mm.
This cout is only available, not this one.
Yeah.
I want to
Mm-hmm.
addition of these values also. But what they
Mm.
do? They do as to return this value to the function, and then after that you can print this by yourself. Okay. How can we do that? Two ways you can do this parts. First of all, you can put this variable values in any int or I just put here inside the variable. Okay. Put
Mm.
function return values
And mm.
inside the variable.
Mm.
Okay, you can input here the function, you can value inside the variable, and then the C out. I just use here
R.
and then R,
Mm.
and then also use a handle for the new line. Save it. And if I run again, then we got this some of these values.
Mm.
Got it? Okay. So
Oh,
every time
okay.
this will be a call, and for this part, this is just a return these two values. Okay, where we
Um,
send these values to this one and one and two, and then after that this will be addition will be operation will be done, and then after that this value again return to this function, and this function will be used directly. Got it?
I have it. Can you repeat that again? And I also have one more doubt.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
if we use endl after C, like addition of the two values, and then if we
Mm-hmm.
use endl, the 79 would go to a next line, or is it going to be on the same line?
If I use here the and then here we use here the and,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Then this will be shown here the next line. Value will be shown here the next line.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
That's why I don't use say the handle because I want to same line in these values. Okay, this is just a format where
mm.
you can use. Okay,
Okay.
you can also use this see out directly. You don't need to be defined as a variable. You can also directly call this inside the see out and write the values whatever you want to values is. Okay, this is my value,
Mm.
and then you can also use the and then. Okay, and save it and this as just run this here. Then what's here? We want 14 is value is false. We don't need to be defined as a variable inside a variable, put the function here. Okay, we directly
Oh,
use it
just call
in this
C out.
cases. Yeah, got
Mm,
it? Okay.
hmm.
You can also do this type of things here. Got it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So here you can do this type of things also, and then define as much you can do as well. Okay. This is called a return value. If I use here the void instead of int, this will cause an error. Okay, if I use a void instead of int, this will be cause an error. Okay, this will be cause an error. So every time you use here, this because void is not support the return values, but int is support the values, and that's why we use the main function here. Okay, int the main.
Um,
Same thing you can use here also. Okay.
let's say let's say we
Uh-huh.
didn't use return there, right? We didn't use return, and then we use void, then it would work, right?
Yeah, you can use a void to then we got an error this type of errors. Okay,
No, no, no. If
not.
we remove
Mhm.
the returner and then add the void,
But in this
like if
case,
we
we don't use it. If you use here the void and then you
Mhm.
don't use it, and then this will work.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm asking. Okay, yeah,
If I this the line I don't use here, then this will work. But one thing you can do here the and one plus and two here.
and one plus
Got
and
it?
then two. Okay, okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay. Then this will work. But in this case, we
Mm,
just in this example I just use for the doing this one. Right?
mm, mhm,
So this way you can create this thing. If you use the int here and then don't need to be assigned as a return, you can also do as val to do these things. Okay, suppose you want to do don't want to assign the int, you can also use n one plus n2 directly here. Okay,
mm,
also you do that. But better way you can use for this purposes you can use here the return value because in this case we return something, don't want to print something. All right. So not
mm.
the C out here, I directly use add. I just use here 26 and then 23, whatever value you want to store. Semicolon is
Mm,
right. Okay. Save it and then send it. Then this will be what will be
mm,
shown here. Okay. Same work in this one also. But you for better one this way, you can always create this return values, right?
mm.
Okay. So better one.
So
Why this?
why is it better? Um,
Because we return some operations. Okay,
mm,
sometimes we don't want to need it, the output of this part, but we want to return this some operation where we want to need here, then we can just print it. Okay, by using the cout. That's why we use the return
mm,
function. Okay, sometimes we just need
mm,
to be done the operation. After that we when we
mm,
satisfy our condition, then we just want to print it. If I use a
mm,
cout directly and then call the function, then what's happened, my value is called printed right there. but I don't want to print directly. I want to print myself by when we need it to print the values. Got it?
Mm,
Okay,
mhm,
for the
mm,
specific condition, the specific things, whatever it is, okay, like that, then we can use it. Got this one?
mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
This why we use this part. Got this?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. This is called a function, simple function you can use here. Okay. For the better understanding of the function, we do something in this case. Okay. So what you want to do here? I just one thing I just same example I take about the conditions. Where is that? One second. For this part, we use the this question. Okay. I just want to make this question by using function. Okay. To solve this question by using the function. Okay. How to do this one? Okay. Solve this question by using the
Mm.
question by using function. So you can what you do for every shapes, you can define the function for it and then define the its functionalities where you want to calculate its area, and after that you can just call when we need to recall it. Got it? So this
Okay.
question you can solve by using the function where you define the functionality inside the function right here. Got it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. This is simple way you can do here. Okay. Then you can already do this type of question by in the condition way. But in this case, we also use here the functions. Got
Uh-huh.
okay. One thing also you do here, the other one is my parts. Just repeat this one for the better understanding because this question is always you know here. Now, this one. Okay. And this things also do by using the function. For this purpose, you can also use the function here. Okay. This both the question solved by using the function. Okay. This is
So
question
so
number two.
and
Uh,
and okay. Mm-hmm.
okay. Using the function. If you do these things, then you can better understand your function to how the function is work. Okay. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Any doubts, any question
Yeah.
regarding this one?
Um, no, no.
No. So first of all, do this practice this one.